Greetings, travelers, and welcome to another episode of Let's Play The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, presented by Draco Breach. After the Skull Woods, I believe, Skull Forest, something like that, we're actually heading down to the Village of Outcasts, which is where the next palace also is. Do you have anything? Nope. There are a few things to do here before we actually head into the palace, like... Okay, Moblin? No, I can't remember what you are. Quit bothering me and watch where you're going when you dash around. Yeah, he doesn't like you. The order that you do things in kind of will depend on what you feel like. I'm going to actually go into this area first. This is another minigame that you want to participate in, but you do want to make sure that you have at least a couple hundred rupees, just to be safe. There is a way to get a good bit of rupees in the Village of Outcast, which I will show after my objective here. May I help you? You can open 2 chests for 30 rupees. Why don't you play? Different people have different strategies for this. Me, this one, leave. I usually come out ahead here as far as rupee count, but that doesn't... Second try? What in the world? It took me 5 or 6 tries on my test file, and I got it on the second attempt. What is my luck? And I came out ahead. That's what I mean. It's very easy to come out ahead in this. So you're very unlikely to actually burn through your rupees, but just in case, you probably should prepare to run out of rupees. You cannot defeat these guys. They are basically thieves. They run into you, steal rupees, or I think they can only steal rupees. They might be able to steal something else. But anyway, in this house, there's 300 rupees, so I'm very near max again. This is a shop. I'll actually show it. They sell shield, red potion, and bombs. You talked to me late. I didn't think you were going to talk to me because of how much I was able to move around. Anyway, if you need something from him, feel free to go there. This is the Village of Outcasts. People without rupees are not welcome here. Oh, you are a talking tree. Okay. Wow, I haven't seen a normal person in a few hundred years. Let me talk to you for a while. Do you know about the Gargoyle Statue in the village? People say they can hear a girl calling for help from under the statue. Isn't that a strange story? Yes, it is a strange story, isn't it? Anyway, over here are some heavy rocks. They probably look familiar in hue to some other rocks that we have seen in Light World. That sign just says the same thing about this being the Village of Outcasts. We will want bombs. Am I going to get the same luck as my test file? Yes, I am. In here, there's another treasure chest, and you can probably guess what it is. It's Rupee Cap. Yeah, so if you didn't have enough rupees before going into the treasure game, then you can easily get more. Anyway, that one tree mentioned a Gargoyle Statue. There's only one in town. And it leads to the palace, Thieves Town. There are conflicting names on this, but Thieves Town is generally what people agree to call it. In here, yeah, let's... The first treasure chest that you see... Oh yeah, the red versions of those enemies shoot fire when they face you. You get a map. There isn't anything else in this room. Right, there is not anything else in this room. Okay. go up through this entrance, or that hallway. I thought you were 3 hits, not 4. But anyway, this treasure chest looks awfully enticing. Let's go ahead and get it. And it's just 20 rupees. A couple of red Zols, a rabbit beam trap. There's another rabbit beam trap right here. What we want to do now is actually try not to get hit by various traps that you can't do anything about. Walk over another Zol. I believe you can see... Nope, never mind. You can either bomb or run into that wall to open it up. This dungeon, I do tend to get turned around a bit, even when I know where I'm going. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. But that's mainly because it's got some interesting things going on. And here, I want to... Good. Can I get this other... He's not as much of a threat because he doesn't shoot fire. But, let's take care of him. What we want to do now... actually drop down here. I wanted to see what was under that skull, just to make sure. Oh... Slow down. Yeah, this is... no. Yes. No. I do have to go further down. In this room... This should be... compass. Yeah, like even with my test file, I am probably going to get turned around in here. Right, that's our next goal. And I already got turned around. I already got turned around. How is that for you? But anyway, besides getting lost on something that should be simple, and oh boy do I... Enemies respawn, and oh boy do I mean simple. But yeah, that's the way it's going to be. Yep, okay. Was not going to avoid those forever, unfortunately. But you can do a lot to avoid the enemies and get over here for the big key. So yeah, you can actually get quite a few items. You can get all of the dungeon items. Oh, I walked right into that trap. Oh, okay. But yeah, you can get all 3 of the items, the dungeon items, very quickly. And I am in the wrong... Yep. Getting turned around again. It should be this one. And of course I get hit by a trap. Yeah, this dungeon generally recommended to have plenty of healing, really. Fortunately, they don't do too much damage at this point. I thought the shield blocked that. One interesting thing, I don't normally show the maps in dungeons because the map appears on the side, but I want to show it in this case because you'll notice that it shows that the boss room is literally right in front of us. But we're really early in the dungeon and it's open. The boss is not in here. Kind of an interesting little hint, I guess one could say. But anyway, we got the small key and we can head in here and, yep, enemies respond. Unfortunately, you did full heart. Was that a full heart or was that a little bit more? Anyway, nowhere else that we can really go in here. These enemies are kind of interesting and they might actually remind you of a boss. is... Going up is kind of pointless. That just leads to a room that we can't do anything in. We want to go in here, which is a bit of a gauntlet. Mainly because it has a bunch of traps, including this invincible, like, moving... What is it called? A rover or something? In here, you find a key. I'm actually going to go up here without hitting that switch yet, just to show something off. And that's because if you hit the switch, you can't talk to this telepathy pad. Link, it's me, Zelda. Don't be deceived by the magic of Blind the Thief. Be careful. That's a rather... forgot about that rabbit beam trap. That's a rather unusual warning from Zelda. Anyway, don't bother bombing the floor. It does nothing here. If we pull this, it's actually a trap. But I wanted the chance to get some hearts. And I got 2 hearts, so that's not too bad. Anyway, 2 pretty easy, well, a few, 3 actually. I think this will work. Yep. The reason we need to hit that switch is not because of that one room that I said we couldn't do anything in yet. It's because this is hidden to open that door. These guys are basically Dark World rats, but they take 2 swings from the Master Sword, which means they're quite a bit stronger than rats, because rats only had 1 hit point. That means that these guys have either 2 or 3. Interesting thing, keep in mind, there are context clues if you pay attention. And this is one reason I was actually able to beat this game 100%, collecting everything without looking at a guide when I was young. Bombs, window, shining a beam of light on a crack in the floor. By the way, these are also always bombs. Context clues. That just, it really is great. If you're paying attention, most things are pretty obvious. Do I still need bombs? But, again, I'm going to show the map, because that's kind of interesting. This room is directly above the boss room. And the game has been giving us lots of very interesting context clues. We've heard about Blind multiple times. He doesn't like light. He has magic. Kind of interesting that he's actually been brought up multiple times, and he's the boss of the fourth palace. In here, just keep that in mind. That door leads back to the door that's right before the boss room. One thing to keep in mind, and this is weird. You can actually pick this up with the equipment that you have now. You'll see why that's kind of weird in a moment. But anyway, right, I want this. If you go in here, this room, I will tell you right now, only go in here if you are trying to fill in the map. Because it shuts behind you, has 3 enemies, bumpers, it's very easy to fall into holes, like I just did. And there's nothing in here. There's no reward for taking out those enemies. That is it. So where you want to go, well, we don't have a key to go in there, so we go in here. This is the room directly south of where that big block is that I showed you that you can pick up. And in here, there's a gauntlet of enemies. Kind of interesting. And you can open these cages, so they're not exactly secure. And, what was mentioned before? There is a girl who is calling for help from the depths of Thieves Town, from the depths of this palace. Oh, thank you very much. You saved my life. Please take me outside. But this is kind of odd. Everything has told us so far that somebody who is unprotected by the Moon Pearl, which there's only one of, gets turned into something hidden deep within their heart. And yet, we have a seemingly normal girl following us. But we got a key. Let's go use that right quick. Actually, what we're going to want is the hammer. Like I said, the hammer is incredibly useful. And we get the Titan Mint, which means that every stone in the game... Oh yeah, and the floor falls out. Every stone in the game that is possible to pick up, you can now pick up, regardless of how heavy it is. And this is why I'm not sure why these blocks are you can pick those blocks up with the equipment that you had before entering this dungeon. Because, in theory, those should be the heavier, the darker hued blocks. I don't know that I like that. I'm gonna keep... So anyway, with our suspicions aroused, or at least mine, let's go in here. And remember the room that was directly above here? We bombed out the floor. Now there's light shining down. Well, I suspect you. Let's just be sure. Too bright. Yeah, if it wasn't obvious. The small fireballs you can block with your shield. Every once in a while, Blind will stop and shoot a laser. You want to try to hit him with spin attacks to minimize the number of hits. As you can tell, it gets pretty chaotic in here. Oh, okay. So a lot of people will recommend bringing red potions to this fight for this exact reason. I have 2 fairies and a blue potion. So worse comes to worse, because Blind can hit pretty hard. Of course, I completely missed. Okay, he's gone. The laser you cannot block. The laser, it might have happened in this fight, but I was not paying. I was paying more attention to where Blind was on the screen. The laser can occasionally split into smaller red fireballs that you can block. Anyway, ending that fight with only 1 fairy loss. On my test run, I actually beat him without dying and requiring a fairy to revive me. So I did better on this fight with my test file, but I did better on the previous fight with my actual playthrough, which is hilarious. Link, because of you, I can escape from the clutches of the evil monsters. Thank you. As the wise men sealed the way to the Dark World, the Knights of Hyrule defended them from the attacks of evil monsters. I heard that the Knights of Hyrule were nearly wiped out in that battle. You are perhaps the last one to carry the bloodline of the Knights. It is ironic that the last one in the line has the potential to become the hero of legend. Surely you can defeat Ganon. Do you understand? Yep. may the way of the hero lead to the Triforce. And the item that we got in this dungeon, the Titan's Mitts, which is what I was probably accidentally calling the previous items, the previous mitts, are great for exploration, which means that next time, we have some chores to do around Hyrule. But until next time, this will be Draco Breach reporting out. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and until then, God bless and safe travels.